So earlier today, China hosted a trilateral meeting in Beijing with senior officials from Russia and Iran. The talks focused on Iran's nuclear program and came after a joint naval exercise. Now, China's deputy foreign minister highlighted that Iran's right to peaceful nuclear energy must be respected and called for an end to the quote, illegal unilateral sanctions, end quote, which is a clear rebuke of the U.S. maximum pressure campaign that began after America's 2018 withdrawal from the Iranian nuclear deal under President Trump. Since then, Iran has been enriching uranium up to the 60% level, which is near weapons grade. China and Russia reaffirmed Iran's claim that its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes and emphasized Iran's right to develop nuclear energy as a non-proliferation treaty member, while criticizing Western efforts to limit it. The meeting followed a joint naval drill, the Maritime Security Belt 2025, which was held from March 11th to March 13th in the Gulf of Oman. Now, the drill involved live fire and tactical maneuvers in a key oil transit route and was framed by Iran as a show of multilateral cooperation and maritime security, with observers from Azerbaijan, South Africa, and Oman present. Back in March, Trump sent a letter to Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, offering talks but warning of consequences, which Tehran completely disregarded and immediately rejected as bullying. Iranian officials have insisted they will not negotiate under pressure, aligning instead with China and Russia to counter U.S. efforts. China's role as the host of these talks shows its ambition to position itself as a global power broker, which they actually desperately want to reinforce due to the fact that the Middle East went to crap after their breakthrough negotiations with Iran and Saudi Arabia. Since then, China has largely been sidelined once again in the face of decisive U.S. action in the Middle East. Meanwhile, Russia has obviously deepened its strategic partnership with Iran, even going so far as to relying on them, as evidenced by Iran's supply of drones and missiles for Russia's war in Ukraine. They also seek to leverage this alignment with Iran and China to challenge U.S. dominance. Now, the meeting's timing is significant, coming right after a closed-door UN Security Council session on March 12th, where the U.S. and allies raised concerns over Iran enriching uranium beyond 60%. Western powers fear Iran is close to nuclear weapons capability, though Tehran denies this. The UK, France, and Germany have threatened to trigger a snapback of pre-JCPOA sanctions before the deal expires on October 25th. Now, the JCPOA is the Iranian nuclear deal that Trump backed out of in 2018. Now, the trilateral meeting and joint naval exercise reinforced the bloc of China, Russia, and Iran, and then you throw in North Korea, and you have pretty much the new axis of evil or Legion of Doom or whatever you want to call them. And they're all united by shared grievances against Western policies, specifically the U.S. sanctions and military posturing. However, the trio's alignment is not without its limits. China's economic ties with the U.S. I mean, the U.S. is still China's largest trading partner, as well as its rivalry with India, which is a potential Russian partner, could temper China's commitment to forming an official axis here. For Iran, the meeting reinforces its strategy of looking east to offset sanctions, though it risks further escalation with the U.S. if diplomatic avenues collapse. And of those three countries, the U.S. has the least problem with engaging Iran in a kinetic fight. All three are also currently struggling with massive domestic and economic issues that undermine their ability to execute policy outside of their individual countries. Also, aligning with Iran actually decreases influence in the Middle East for Russia and China because the most influential countries there, Saudi, Israel, Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, etc., all lean towards the US and Europe. In the short term, however, this unified stance may embolden Iran to resist Trump's pressure, potentially accelerating its nuclear program unless a credible diplomatic path emerges. The situation does remain fluid, but Trump may have little leverage at this point over Iran outside of direct strikes, and the International Atomic Energy Agency's upcoming report on Iran's nuclear activities is likely to shape the actions of all of the countries involved.